Hi everyone, I'm Tam. As we are nearing Halloween, I will make something special. Try to make something special. Today we have pork blood. So pork blood and fresh, like a vampire. Mwahaha. So there is a pork blood cube, and then actual pork blood itself, like that. I am interested just in the water, the liquid for this recipe. I'll probably save the solid pork blood, which is just like protein. That's just pure protein, basically. As pure of a protein probably get. So I'll save that for like a different recipe. So I'll probably save the solid pork blood for a soup recipe, and I'll save the liquid for this recipe. Using the pork blood liquid with flour, like baking soda, salt, and butter and egg, we are going to try to make some pork blood cookies. Yes, you heard that right, pork blood cookies. So this amount of liquid is probably like 0.4 pounds. So let's just estimate like half a pound, just be nice. This is 1.3 pounds, so this is probably half a pound of liquid, just to be nice. Half a pound liquid, one stick of butter, 16 cups of butter. It's probably way too much, honestly. That's fine. It's okay. Probably half of this would be okay with the half a pound. But that's okay. We'll stick with this. We'll stick with this. No pun intended. And then one egg to be enough to hold everything together. And then 2 cups of flour and 1 teaspoon of baking soda to help the cookie rise, so it kind of like becomes a bit bigger vertically. And then salt, because the pork blood will probably taste pretty gross without a bit of salt. No sugar, just kind of like a salty pork blood cookie. That is the vibe. So I have very little experience making cookies, so we'll see how this goes. First thing I'll do is crack open this egg. This butter is unsalted butter, so no salt, and it's also at room temperature. So you see it's kind of squishy. So this is what we want. We want easy to work with butter. This is very easy to work with to mash up. Very easy to work with, like kind of like gravy, soft. Yeah. So I'll mash this with the egg and also the pork blood liquid into like a kind of like a kind of a wet mixture. So pretty kind of wet mixture, soft, malleable, soft and malleable. And then in this bowl, I'll put in like 2 cups of flour, one teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So this is like the dry mixture, dry. And then I will add in the dry mixture into the wet mixture, quotation mark, until eventually we have the consistency that we need. I have no idea if I need more dry mixture or like less, so we'll see. We'll add in like maybe like half of it, kind of mix it up, and then we'll see how I guess firm it is, and before we add more, and then we'll fold it into balls and put it into the pan here. I will do I'll turn the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And then once the oven is ready, preheated, we'll just add in the actual aluminum pan, and it should cook for about 15 minutes in the oven, 350 degrees. Then we'll take it out. Ideally, you want to have some kind of parchment paper so it doesn't stick to the actual foil, and it makes it easier to take out of the pan. I think we'll be okay because we're using a lot of butter, so it should kind of like not stick. Ideally, parchment paper is the best way to go. Or you can just like lightly oil the surface so it doesn't stick. Anyway, so I'll come back when I have both the dry and wet mixture. All right, and here is our wet mixture. I try to I try my best with a fork to kind of like mash it up and kind of like turn it into like a mixture. So it's kind of hard to do with just a fork. It'll probably take me like another hour or so, just kind of mashing it up. If you have a whipper, I don't know what the name is for the machine. But some kind of whipper there, it'll be a lot easier. Anyway, so this is the best I could do with a fork. So that's what it is. So 1 egg, 1 stick of butter, and about half a pound of pork blood, kind of mixed up. The wet mixture. This is the dry mixture. Roughly 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt to add a bit of flavor. So now we will slowly mix these two together, because you don't really know how much you need, and also you may want it a bit more firm or soft, and so on. So I'll put in half of this, try to like mix it up, and then we'll see. So let me just try to do this right now. Put the phone to the side here so it doesn't move on me. All right, I have little experience doing this, so sorry if I mess up. So I'll spend half of this, kind of smooth all around so it's easier to mix. Yeah, I think half of this, probably not enough. 3/4, 75% of this is probably sufficient. So this is half of it. Let's see how much that kind of makes. Just kind of move around here. Oh yeah, this is definitely not enough. Yeah, I can just tell. Okay, so everything else in. Screw it, everything else in. All right, so that is looking a bit better. So try to mix it up. I probably need another like 2 cups, honestly. Yeah. Oh shoot, yeah, I definitely need another like 2 cups. Okay, so because there's just so much liquid here compared to solid. All right, so let me show you what I mean. This is way too mushy. So another 2 cups, another batch of that should be fine. So I'll come back to you when I have this sorted out. Oh boy! All right. So this is the dough that I'll be working with. I put in 3 times more. So in total, about 8 cups of all-purpose flour, 4 teaspoons of baking soda, and 4 teaspoons of salt. That's probably a lot more salt and teaspoon than that's probably a lot more salt and baking soda than you need. However, I just stick with the ratio, so we'll see how it goes. So you see, it's like it's not wet. When you poke deep into it, it's pretty dry. So that's what you want. You want like a nice kind of dough. Nice kind of dough. I'll spend about another half an hour kind of just like kneading the dough. So you do this. You kind of like break it up. You make sure that the flour is touching base with all the parts of the dough, so that the dough throughout the dough is kind of like nice. So no part of the dough should feel like wetter than the other part of the dough. Everything should be at the same kind of firmness and consistency. That's how you get the kind of high quality stuff here. So you see, not really wet, pretty firm, not too crazy. So I'll do this for like another I don't know, like half an hour or so, maybe like 10 minutes of intense kneading, so that the dough is like kind of like firm, and then I'll break it up into balls and put into the pan. I actually have more dough than I expected, so we'll see how that goes. I'll come back when I'm ready for the oven. Here we are. These are the cookie balls. So I took out a piece of it and just rolled it into a ball. Let me show you the motion to you. You see you understand what I did. So I took a bit of it and I just kind of like I rolled it into a ball like this. boop, 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 patted it down a little bit and put it into the pan. So that's all I did. All right, so these are 11 balls of dough here. I will put this into the oven, 350 degrees, already good to go. And let me put the phone to the side so I can actually do this. Hold on, sorry. Put the phone there. I'll move this so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so just put it into the oven here. Careful, it's gonna be hot. Just put it in the oven in the center. And then we'll leave it there for 15 minutes, and then we'll come back. These are our pork blood cookies. Looks a lot like potatoes, actually, the color, anyway. So I took it out after 15 minutes in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I left it on the top to cool down for about 10 minutes. That is what happened. And then I put it into a plate, and here we are. See here. There we are. So, good news is that the cookies did not stick to the pan. So the pan is pretty harmless right now. I will wash this and reuse it for the future. So it's nice. I think the reason why there's like some cracks here is because I used too much baking soda and it probably broke the ball. Anyway, so let's see what these taste like. That is the goal. Oh, it's kind of sad that the red color from the blood is gone now. Anyway, that's the main thing that I am sad about right now. The color is not red, so it doesn't look as interesting. All right, let's try the small one. The bottom is still kind of like soft, but overall everything's kind of firm now. So you can let this cool down for another 10 minutes to kind of like for everything to kind of like finish for everything to finish up. I'll just eat it right now. So let's see what it smells like. Let's put this to the side. I can smell this. It smells like butter dough with a bit of like sweetness to it. It smells like, yeah, the butter is very strong actually. I can't smell the blood. I can't smell the salt. It's mostly just butter and it smells like very sweet buttery dough. So it smells to me. All right, see what it tastes like. Oh wow. Oh man, that's way too salty. That's way too salty. For me anyway, too salty. And too much baking soda flavor. Yeah, the blood is very diluted. You can barely taste that there's blood here. Barely. It just tastes like a bunch of like salt and baking soda. That's kind of the main flavor. I should have just use 1 teaspoon of baking soda and maybe like 2 teaspoons of salt, but because the baking soda flavor is too strong, it overpowers the other flavors. Yeah, the baking soda is just too strong. I can barely taste the blood. So the baking soda is like at a level like 9, The salt is at the level like probably 5, and then the blood is like at the level like 2. So it's like barely noticeable underneath the baking soda and the salt. You can definitely kind of taste it there. You can kind of taste it, yeah. Too much baking. It's too much baking soda. Too much baking soda. That's way too much baking soda. It ruins the flavor, unfortunately. So now in the future, I know not to use as much, or I guess now I know how strong baking soda can be in comparison to salt and pork's blood. Have a good day, everyone.